What is going down, everyone? It's time for Mojobreak.com, The Hype, episode 303. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about, and we're joined today by a very special guest. We got Stephanie from Mojobreak. How's it going, Stephanie?
Good. Thank you so much. I was not expecting to Google sports cards today and find you and then be on a podcast.
Things happen quick.
I love that our Google Ads works.
Yeah.
So
she's like, what shops are on here? Oh, Mojobreak. Okay, cool. And then you're in the Fanatics Live, and now we're here. That's how quickly things happen in this industry. You know, it happens so fast. So we're going to talk about the Burbank Card Show, which is coming up this weekend. We're also going to talk about some new releases. There's Star Wars Galaxy Chrome. There's Cosmic Chrome. I feel it's like a space week around here and around the hobby where it's all about space stuff going on. So we're also going to do some football talk because that's, you know, what's going on in about a week, and everybody's paying attention to that, talking about Trey Lance and all that other stuff. Dan, how happy were you to see Trey Lance off the 49ers?
I don't know about happy. I'm just anybody who's not on the Niners, near and dear to my heart. You know that. So
He's a Rams fan.
Go Trey Lance.
By the way.
Hope he has a great career.
You're from here and you're a Rams fan?
Yeah, die hard.
Wow.
When they were in St. Louis.
Okay.
Well, both. L.A.
Yeah.
I do it every time. L.A. to St. Louis.
No,
and
they're
back
just
to L.A.
right. St. Louis.
And
Sure.
you grew up in here, right?
Grew up
So-
here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to
Wow.
believe, right? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
That's
And you
fine.
grew up here too?
I like
Yeah.
winners.
Okay, cool. I didn't really grow up watching football, but my husband's a Chiefs fan. He was
It's
big
good to-
Joe
good.
Montana, and I started watching Alex Smith era, so he's my favorite football player.
Nice. Alex is a good guy.
Two guys we can all, well, Doug and I at least can all see on this are on the same page with those guys. Alex Smith and Joe Montana, I'd say.
Yeah.
I don't know it.
Yeah.
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 Well, I mean, I love Alex Smith as a Chief and Joe Montana's a Chief.
That's how we all think of them.
I mean, I do.
Steve Bono, too. Yeah, third one on there.
Steve Bono, Trent Green.
Trent Green.
We're just naming Chiefs.
Elvis
QBs.
Gerback.
So yeah, there we go. Let's just
Okay,
keep it rolling.
let's keep on going.
Matt Castle. But anyways, there's
Matt
a
Castle.
Matt
God, I
Castle.
forgot about the Matt Castle.
Matt Castle right after Patriots got a big
Sure.
deal.
Steve
Sure.
DeBerg.
All right.
There
All
we go.
right.
Now-
All
now I
right,
can leave.
show
Len
off.
Dawson. All right, but we'll keep it going. But we've got a big West Coast show this weekend. Actually, tomorrow it starts, the Burbank Card Show at the Anaheim Convention Center. And I think all of us West Coasters are excited, and we're hoping for the best of this show, so it becomes a staple event, because I think the Anaheim Convention Center is a great location. It's big. It's got a lot of room. I know you're doing a lot of things as usual, but I noticed on Instagram you're doing a kids trade night. Is it a day or a night?
Day. So there's actually a sponsored trade night that night. I don't remember who that is, but this is just in the day. My whole thing with this idea when we started it is that parents don't want to be out with their kids that
Absolutely.
late
Yeah.
at trade nights, and obviously you know the older kids get their parents to go, but this is more for the younger kids. I want to make sure that families have a place to kind of hang out during the show, because I tell everybody when I started going to card shows, I had almost a newborn. He was about 6 months, and a 1.5-year-old. So going to card shows for me was super difficult. Like I had nowhere to
Double stroller, yeah.
Double stroller. I actually carried one in the sling, and I had that big stroller. So this is a cool place for families to come hang out, and they could just do different activities. That's another problem. There isn't much for kids to do at shows. So when I used to take my kid to a show, he just lay on the floor. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, they're like, there's like, where the stuff he's at.
He's
There's
banging on the
certain
tables.
nationals where I felt like doing the same exact thing. I could have laid down on the floor and took a little nap.
Plenty of those.
So we're gonna have a bunch of cool things. Like Jeff from Card Kids, his son's gonna come and do pack battles with the kids. And the kids were really excited to do that last year because they were on YouTube.
Okay.
So YouTube's now TV, being on TV for them,
Mhm.
especially these
Yeah.
bigger accounts. And then Ultra Pros actually sponsored and gave us a bunch of one-touches. So the kids are going to make their one-of-one sketch cards for the Burbank Card Show and kind of just have that as a keepsake.
Nice.
So different
Awesome.
different things, games, cornhole. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, we had a few kids, a lot more kids this year at the National than I've ever seen, which is great.
Yes.
And we actually just had some cards that we left on the table, right? Just base cards. And, you kind of don't really think how exciting just a base card is until you see a kid. It's just like, it doesn't matter who it is. They're so excited for this card. And it takes me back to be like, man, we're looking for these super fractors and all these big hits, but it's like really the essence of collecting is seeing a kid get his first card in his hand and be like, oh my God, this is so cool, right? And how they react. So I think that's awesome that they're doing that. And we've always been trying to get more kids in this hobby and get cards in their hand and get them doing something positive. I know my kids unfortunately watch a lot of like YouTube kids that's not sports card related. So, having something tangible to collect, I think is a really good thing. So.
Yeah, and a big shout out to eBay because they're really giving us a lot of wax to give away. So every time I meet a parent, especially kids like around that age, I'm telling you, like 5 years old to about 14 years old, I tell them, come to the Burbank Card Show, look it up. I do this twice a year, and we give out so much free stuff so that they could just try it out for the first time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what day is that? When can people find that?
Saturday, we're starting at 11:30, and then it ends up around 4 o'clock.
Cool.
So
We'll actually we don't even need to be sponsored or anything. We're gonna have wax. We'll throw in some more wax for them too. So
thank you,
we're driving down with the whole setup and everything for wax and singles. So
I was
Very
like, wait,
cool.
we're doing what?
yeah,
But
we're not driving.
Then I'm
but-
like, wait a second, we're not driving down.
It's not that bad a drive.
No,
Shane,
it's not.
Shane's driving down.
Do that drive like 5-6 times a year. It ain't that bad.
It's not that bad.
How many hours is that?
I'm gonna go away from doing California highway talk though. I immediately realized, we're veering off into that again, which we have done in the past.
You know how I feel
We've
about
done
freeways.
We've done solid segments about California.
We were gonna have a California freeway bracket. That's how at one show we started talking. What's the best freeway?
A niche inside of a niche. It's like we anyway.
You guys call it the 101, right?
The 101.
The 101.
yeah.
We just call it 101.
101, yeah.
Well, I mean,
It's
yeah,
like a
we
northern
call
song.
we
No
call
need to
every
article.
highway here just what it is.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
taking
no,
101.
Drive 280.
Oh, yeah.
But you don't. Yeah, L.A. or Southern California, it's the
Right.
That's funny. I
205,
don't
whatever.
even notice that stuff. But
It's
yeah.
a little different.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any
well,
sense.
and we make
but-
up for it by saying hella a lot.
Right.
Oh, dude, yeah.
You know.
A lot of
It's
dude.
pretty annoying.
Yeah, I've been trying to erase that from my vocabulary.
One person's annoying would be another person's delightful. So I'm just saying.
Well, we've been trying to. We bring this up on every several podcasts about breaker lingo, and we've tried our hardest to not do "Let's Go" anymore.
Oh, why does everybody get so upset about Let's Go?
We
Let's
may have
talk about
started
that.
this trend.
I think,
I
I
just
think
don't
it's our
think-
fault.
I don't think it's something to get upset about. I've actually gotten comments on some of my reels where I say "Let's go," and it's like, I used to be a middle school teacher. You have no idea. These kids say "Let's go" for everything.
So all
They'd
the
be like,
time.
"Hey guys, we're gonna not do class today. We're gonna have an assembly. 3 kids. Let's go, miss."
Yeah.
I
So
think we think of it as breaker lingo, but you're onto something. Like it's not.
it's not
just.
just breaker lingo.
It's just kids. Like
Yeah.
today, just
Well,
say
now
it a
they're like,
lot.
yeah. If a mom's like, "Hey, we picked up, a cherry cheesecake. Let's go."
Let's
you
go,
know?
yeah.
It's just an excitement word, right?
Honestly,
I
I'll
think
be
it- I think
honest.
what it breaks down to. I mean, it's different if a kid says it, but
Sure.
it's when you're 40.
Honestly, though, if
Well,
You're-
we're a
you're
bunch
screaming-
of
screaming,
30
"Let's
and
go."
4-year-olds opening
Right.
packs of cards. Like
Yeah.
we're being kids.
if
Yeah,
somebody
we are.
did bring home really good cheesecake, I might actually yell out a "Let's go."
But to be fair,
Be
we
warranted.
haven't found a
Exactly.
word to replace it, so it's still in the vocabulary.
Right.
It's quick
Well, I
and
mean,
easy.
like Layden has boom,
Yeah.
Right.
so you just kind of find your thing.
Oh.
I don't think I have something.
Yeah, it's like, well,
I don't know if he has. I don't know if we can just give him.
Given
boom.
license to it. Yeah.
He literally has like the home of the boom.
he
right?
does. Yeah. In early breakers, that was the lingo. Is boom.
Yeah.
I think a kaboom before there was a kaboom insert was
Kaboom?
popular.
Okay.
Bang, I guess was, and that's still being used.
Bang's
but
a difficult one.
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
really like that one, but I say it sometimes. You know, you
Kinda
just
my go-to, actually.
Yeah.
you watch so many breaks, and then
Yeah.
you just kind of like it have registers somewhere weird in your brain, and you just do it when you're opening. So
We do something that a lot of people don't know. We do shoe. Oh yeah, let me do it properly.
You gotta do it right.
Shoe came up because it's a old
Okay.
video. Gary Payton.
that's interesting.
Yeah. So it's in its
People are like,
essence.
"What? You
What did you just say? No,
What?
most
Did
people don't
you
get
Like,
it.
huh?
Did you say shoe came up?
But it's shoot
came up?
Shoot came up. Like, because you got into something and you got something, right? But
I feel like if you have to explain it a lot, it's not that cool.
exactly. It's probably what it is. But when we started in 2010, there was a video of Gary Payton in a card shop opening National Treasures basketball of 2009, right? And he hit a Kobe redemption. And he didn't know. He was like, "What's that worth?" And then the guy's like, "I don't know, like $800." He's all, "Shoe came up." So we just took it and we ran with it because it was like Gary Payton on camera. And then we got Gary Payton to do it one time for us. So,
Very cool.
but yeah, a
That's
lot of people
cool
think it's
story.
shoe came up or shot came up. Yeah, so it's a little difficult
Shoe.
to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to get back to the Burbank show because I feel like, Stephanie, you were kind of touching on something that I think, since I've been back in trading cards and sports cards, like, I think we all got into this as kids. And I also feel like it's funny how we all got into this as kids. I feel like everybody I've ever met is like, I collected when I was a kid. Da, 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 da. And yet, like, the industry has been like, how do we get to these kids? Like, it's definitely changed a lot in the last couple of years. And it's like having a family night like that, even just location-wise. What a great location if your families and your kids, like, we're literally, Disneyland's right behind us right there. We can go hang out downtown Disney or do whatever. Like, this is, I think this show this weekend has a potential to really capitalize. Is like, I feel like after this weekend, we're going to know what is the Burbank show. We've talked about it on this show of like, could it be a West Coast National? Could it be something like this where it's like, it's a big family show. Like, it's the one card show a year where you're like, which one would I bring the family to? Oh, I'll go to the one where there's going to be a kids' night and there's going to be this and there's going to be entertainment for all the kids. And, like, I feel like this is a big opportunity for them to capitalize on, like, how do we get this new generation super hyped up for this industry? And I feel like this weekend with what you guys are doing and just the locale, like, I think you could really build something special here for families to really have fun with for years to come.
Thank you. And I agree, because one thing that they did add on this year is, so it's going to be 2 floors. The sports card show is going to be on the 2nd floor, and the 1st floor is going to be all TCG.
Oh, wow.
And corporate. So they partnered with Collecticon, which was last week, to get a lot of those vendors in. So I feel anytime anybody asks me, how did you start collecting cards? 8 years old, Pokemon cards.
Right.
And it slowly developed into, once I started, watching baseball with my dad and playing softball, I was like, okay, I used to love Pokemon cards. They have baseball cards too. Let me do this too. So that was a biggest issue I had as a middle school teacher. Obviously, I tried to get my students into cards, but they just weren't really watching sports or understanding it yet.
Right. Where the TCG can kind of get them over. And I think we're in the right demographic of those, what did Pokemon come out, 97?
Yeah,
so now 20,
96 in
26,
Japan,
27, 28-year-olds remember that era, right? So I didn't collect Pokemon. I was, collecting baseball cards. But
33-year-olds remember it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then sports is just, you kind of, like, I always told my students too, your brain kind of changes when you're 7th and 8th grade and you start understanding a little more strategy and just how it's competitive, and you start playing more competitively in high school, and then that's where you grow your passion for it. And then if you already have that love of cards, it's just natural.
Yeah.
You think like places like, I don't know, isn't Disney owned by like ESPN, ABC? Isn't that one kind of company?
ESPN owns, Disney owns all
I was
those.
like,
Disney owns ESPN.
You're like,
yeah.
whoa.
Right, I mean, like, couldn't there be like a collaboration of some sorts? I know Disney has like Lorcana and stuff, but like, could you have like Topps cards that have like Mickey Mouse on, like a logo on? You know what I mean? Like, hand them out at Disneyland days.
I'm sure those have been in discussions for sure.
It's like, the people that come in on a Wednesday this day, you get like a 4-pack of cards or something like that.
I think Disney Lorcana kind of tells you Disney realizes there's a lot of money to be made in this space, in this industry. You're already seeing it. I guarantee you this weekend, I actually didn't realize that it's going to be so TCG paced. It's like, oh, duh, Lorcana is going to be crazy.
And plus you got the long weekend too, so people could stay till Sunday and travel back on their day off on
By
Monday.
the way, pro tip, anybody going, apparently they're selling Lorcana at the Disney shop in downtown Disney. Don't think a lot of folks going to the parks are
now
going to
they
be
do.
looking at
Wow,
those.
that's big.
Just throwing it out there.
Put this podcast out on
And then
Monday.
just go
Just kidding.
go sell it at the Burbank Card Show.
Well, it might happen.
Probably could fund your whole trip.
Easy
Good.
flip.
Yeah.
Pro tip.
It reminds me of a story the owner from Dave and Adams, Adam Martin, back in the day when he was getting started, the Beanie Baby craze happened. And he said he was flying to Hawaii for the summit that they had in Hawaii every year. And he knew that they didn't have any Beanie Babies in Hawaii, so he just bought the whole airport out, took them to Hawaii and sold them for like extra,
my gosh.
he doubled, tripled his money at the show he was at in Hawaii. Just
That's
like stuff like that,
insane.
like what you're kind of trying to say, So if you're like a hustler like that, you can
You
find
know what?
those
No,
avenues.
I say pro tip, but like this is why I knew Lorcana was gonna be big, because you combine the collectability, how collectors think, and then how like Disney collectors think, and then you put those two together, like there's actually probably no way that they're gonna have any of that stuff in stock at the Disney stores in Disneyland, because like everybody's swooping that.
Well, it
stuff
was
up.
hard enough for us to get out. I think we got like 3 boxes, so it was like
That's crazy.
it's very very short.
wild.
Supposedly they're coming out with more later, but right now it's pretty hot.
Yeah.
So, but speaking of releases, we've got Star Wars Galaxy coming out. Came out today, Wednesday, as we sit here. We also have some Metal Universe Hockey. Cosmic Chrome is out, and Case Football. But as a guy that's not like in tune much with Star Wars, I know Cody is. But tell us about like what you're looking forward to the most out of this year's Star Wars Galaxy.
Well, Star Wars Galaxy, in my opinion, Galaxy Chrome has been the reason why Star Wars cards have becoming more mainstream. I think it's a really nice tie with sports cards already. That's why a lot of sports collectors are going into this specific product, because it's the first time that you have like the Mojo parallel, the Red out of 5 parallel, the Superfractor 1 of 1. That was in 2021. So that's the lore from
People
sports.
that are familiar with, yeah.
From sports. Before, I had gotten into Star Wars like a little right before that with Masterwork, and it's just such a different product. And once this came out, I was like, this is gorgeous. And it's not just like a portrait card, like it's not the character on a card where you have like,
They have the
baseball-
nice art cards, right?
It's their artist illustrations, and they're essentially reprints from the longest running Star Wars card set of all time, which is Galaxy.
Right.
And it started like in '92, and then the first set had like the original portraits by an artist named John Smith, like all the big 11, 12 characters. That's why there's so much potential for the future of this product. Like if they just go back and find those significant cards. Like I tell everybody, if you do the research and kind of like do the research on the artist, the actual illustration, and then what it means to the history of Star Wars trading cards, you can find some pretty amazing pieces and make, potentially like find something that it's going to be worth a lot. Like biggest example in the first set was a Jedi a la Kurosawa.
Okay.
That DAP spot for 16K, the Superfractor 1 of 1.
Yeah, that's wild.
The artist Randy Martinez actually creates art for George Lucas, and the original artwork for that print sits in his office.
Wow.
So that's an incredible story. And then last year's set, I mentioned before, the original portraits in the first set ever made, they reprinted all of them. So those Superfractor 1 of 1s, I came out before the set came out and said these are going to be the most significant cards maybe in the history of Galaxy moving forward. Steve Aoki thought the same thing, and he picked up the Luke, the Yoda Superfractor.
That's right. Yeah, I think I saw him on a jet showing him off or something like that, or at least one of them.
Yeah. And at a show earlier this year, I sold one pack to someone for $20, and they pulled the Vader Superfractor 1 of 1.
Jeez.
And I immediately was like, and me being, I feel so nerdy, but I really think that I was like the only one that was like, you have no idea, this is huge.
Is that the one like get a sleeve? I think it was a video. You're like, get a sleeve, put in a sleeve right now.
Everybody hated that video so much because the guy that the cool story about it is that the girl, that was her first time actually going on a date night with her boyfriend after having a baby.
Oh, jeez.
And she didn't know anything about cards. She had never bought cards before. I kind of like convinced her, like, try a pack, because she really loves Star Wars, she said. She was there buying like Star Wars.
So she had
Funkos.
no clue what was in her hand at that point.
Oh no! And then even the guy was like, "I know this is good." I was like, "Dude," and he was like waving it around because we were all celebrating. And then everybody on Twitter obviously was like,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That was like the Twitter. They were looking for something like
It's
that.
a PSA 6 now. It's a PSA 6.
Yep.
What's wrong with that guy? Like all this like crazy stuff.
Corners.
I hate Twitter, by the way, but
Yeah, we get the same
We
comments.
have to live with it.
Yeah, we can relate. The triple logo man, there was a lot of comments.
yes.
Were like,
Yeah, come on.
even though that did come back a 10. So
But
So-
people were like, "You're shaking it. All the corners are gone. All
Yeah.
the corners are bent in the case." It's like, come on, So, but it's fun. I actually want comments because it helps the algorithm. We had a conversation about that on a
Yes.
couple podcasts ago.
Yes.
Because you get posted. We get posted sometimes that have like 2 comments. It's like, I'd like 10 negatives on there. I'd take that. Just so that people
Yeah.
can see it more. But
I agree. Those are the ones that get the most traction. I even look at like stuff that get 1 million views or 1 million likes. It's like the comments are horrible.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a good point. It also makes for like better engagement because more people are
Yeah.
gonna like, if it's a negative comment, you're gonna have more likely people are going to comment on a negative comment.
And be positive
And be
sometimes.
positive.
Yeah.
Be positive or be like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But I mean, back to Galaxy, I like that you pointed out how they've changed, because when you mentioned Masterworks, I felt like they were like, let's make museum collection baseball into Star Wars, right? Where it's like they were trying to cross over like baseball brands, but not have a place for Star Wars. So I think you hit it on the head with Galaxy, that it's like they finally found their niche with a product like this that's got some of the good elements of like their baseball products, but it's still a Star Wars like brand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
It's been a lot of fun. So this one looks beautiful in my opinion, and there's like some pretty big dual autos and triple autos you can get, but they're so rare.
Yeah. Are we guaranteed an autograph in that?
This is the first year. Well, this is the third year that it exists, and it's the first year you're not guaranteed an auto, but that's not a bad thing.
No.
Because what happens is, especially like in this part of autographs, it's really hard to get some of these actors to sign.
Yeah.
And then what they did last year, which is really funny, we made fun of it. It's like they'll get the bartender in like Mandalorian season 2 to sign, and it's like, well, do we really want that? Like, do you need a guaranteed auto to get possibly a bartender? I don't think so.
Like, I asked Cody to sign as a fan.
I mean, look,
That's-
I love Frog Lady, okay? I love Frog Lady from The Mandalorian.
She's a significant character.
Sure.
I didn't say Frog Lady.
No,
She's
it's
a good
true.
one.
Frog Lady's great. I will say, because I only say Frog Lady because I think
That's
I
like
hit,
tier 2.
I think I hit Frog Lady like 15 times in products. Look, I love
I
love Frog
guarantee
Lady.
you
Come on.
there is a Frog Lady super collector out there.
Oh, for
so
sure.
hold on to them.
For
Yeah,
sure.
Misty Rosas.
Yes. Oh man.
You know.
I do love Galaxy so much because it's like I like what you said, Doug. Like it is one of the one of the Star Wars products that just feels so uniquely in its only Star Wars. Like only Star Wars can do this. I know the closest thing I guess I would say is it does feel very similar to stuff like the Upper Deck, Marvel sets that they have. Some of those fantastic artwork, like that. For me, that's what I love about it. Is just
Yes.
I just love seeing what's the new artwork, what's the stuff they've pulled from this year. Just the cards. It kind of goes back to like when I was collecting as a kid. Like I really liked those Marvel sets, Spider-Man sets from Upper Deck. And this totally just taps into that same thing of just ripping it open, and just like I'll rip it open with my nephews, and they'll just be into it. Like it doesn't matter what anything is worth in it. It's just so cool to look at, to collect.
Yes.
It kind of goes back to the collector in me of just like I just want all of each. I just want each card just to.
Yeah,
to
and I
look
think
at
you're
it.
noticing
It's fun.
like Chrome Black was another one that's like,
Yeah.
it was like a kind of a Chrome Black baseball copycat. I don't think
Yeah.
it really took off. I mean, I don't know. I think the one pack Star Wars products don't seem to really like,
That
like-
one gained in popularity over time because it did have better autos. But
yeah, because I think Rosario Dawson was in there for the first time, right?
Cal
Uh,
Kestis, the guy that plays the Jedi Survivor in the video game, was a big one.
Yep.
And Natalie Portman signed in that one too. I don't think she's in this.
And they did Transcendent one year, right? But they called it something else, and I don't think they've brought that back.
Yeah, I think they did Transcendent. I don't know.
It wasn't called Transcendent, but it was
Stellar Signatures?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
they
it
did
was-
it a couple years, I think. but they're-
It looked like kind of Transcendent-ish.
Yes. They
Yeah.
said, I think they're bringing an updated version of that pretty soon, and they're talking about doing like a super high end product at the end of the year. I don't think they've really talked more about it since the Topps conference, but they're gonna call it Galactic Antiquities. So the idea is like having it be like a 1 or 2 card set where it looks like a flawless case and you open it. Like they said their inspiration for it was actually from The Force Awakens, when Rey discovers Luke Skywalker's lightsaber.
Oh yeah.
So I'm super excited
That's
for that.
oh,
cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I wonder if there's going to be an experience attached to it, like they do with the
They
Transcendent
said they
event.
mentioned something like that without mentioning too much. They said so.
Skywalker Ranch tour. That's what I want.
Or have a Harrison Ford show up or something.
Well, that
Yeah.
have Harrison Ford show up and just grumble at you for 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
Like even just the meet and greet, and I think the amazing part about it is like I said, you're bringing a lot of sports fans into this, and then there's so many new shows coming out, and it's just a cool thing to watch with your kids. Like I don't know about you, but I don't think there's a 3-year-old, even 2-year-old in the world that doesn't know who Baby Yoda is.
Oh yeah.
Like
that
my
is
2.5-year-old knows who Baby Yoda is, so he's an icon in this stuff. I think that's why, for reasons like that, these iconic figures, now Ahsoka, it will hold well. I think anyway.
Yeah, we're definitely excited. Now on the other side, they came out with 2, Galaxy type products, space type products with Topps Cosmic Chrome that released today as well. Now, we did a few cases this morning. Last year, I remember when it came out, I kind of laughed. I'm like, oh, we're just trying something that's just trying to make more cards, and I don't think it's going to take off. But
I loved the first time I opened it. I thought this is awesome, but I like Star Wars a lot too. So
yeah, no, I liked it last year too. It was like, I think my initial reaction was like, do we need this, right? But I think
Yeah,
they
how
did
many
a good job
how many
of
different
separating.
variations of Chrome can you have before the market's like too much?
So I have a question for you. Why did it do so well?
That's a great question because it wasn't autograph based, and we always have this conversation about baseball collectors. They don't gravitate towards the parallels as much as basketball collectors and even football collectors. So parallel products historically don't do great in the baseball category, with the exception of Cosmic.
Yeah.
So
And I wouldn't even say this is very like parallel based either, because I don't think there are many parallels in it. It's very insert based.
it's insert. Yeah, you have like the short print inserts, but you also have all the refractors, colors, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But definitely,
You're right. It still doesn't make sense though.
because generally baseball collectors don't go after.
And I think we're in the midst of a pretty good rookie class, right? So I think that's
Yeah.
helping.
That's
I
gonna help
mean,
this year's.
what I thought was interesting
And
too was that the taco fractors are in here as well. But I think they're the Topps
Yeah.
Chrome taco fractors. So I guess there was no way to get all 5 of them in the Topps Chrome because some of them are in here too, right? So
But I think to his point earlier is that they're just so cool to look at.
they are, yeah.
And even
Yeah.
the autos, like they're all
Yeah.
shiny and
Yeah.
they're just
I think sometimes it's as simple as, I really believe that. Like, I speak for myself as just like a fan of this stuff. I think sometimes it's as simple as, does it look good? And this
Yeah.
stuff there's nothing else that quite looks like it. I guess, yeah, we'll talk about it in a minute. Like, Skybox kind of feels like maybe the closest thing we have to that. But for baseball, we don't have anything like that.
No.
So, and I think the mix of scarcity, and the mix of the auto subjects in this, you don't get it in every box, but when you get an autograph, it's going to be a really good one.
Yeah,
You know?
the closest thing I can compare it to, not really price point wise, but Revolution basketball.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
But it's a paper product still, Revolution. So this is Chrome makes
Yeah,
a huge
this is-
difference.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
kind of to his point where it's like we're not really chasing
Chasing the
autographs,
autographs.
we're chasing I
The
think that was their
galactics.
idea with the sun, the planet, like kind of a spin-off of like a galactic type thing, right, where it's not numbered. But yeah, I agree with you as far as a Chrome product. I think it just pops. It looks so much better with like the space kind of thing going on.
And another point about this product that I don't think anybody really makes is that the writing on the back of it is absolutely on point. Like I've gone
Maybe you
through
look
and
at the
like
back of the cards.
graded the I know exactly the launched into orbit set. Like whoever at Topps wrote that, like thank you. I need to.
I'm gonna
They're
look
really
at the back
awesome.
of cards now.
Because like if you're a fan of baseball and stuff, and you look, especially this set, they really did a great job of like this moment in history. Or this is I think the launch into orbit set specifically is every player their longest home run. So it'll tell a little story about Griffey's longest home run.
That's pretty cool.
J-Rod's longest home run. So I'm excited to see like what they
So
did with the inserts this year.
Yeah, because Griffey's in a Reds uniform, so he must have had his longest home run as a Red then. So that makes sense. I'm gonna read the back of a card now.
That's surprising. I used to read
I'm gonna
about-
read. I don't usually read.
I
So
used to
I'll
read
tell you
the back
right
of the
now,
card
don't do
when
it
I was
in a
younger.
break. Because our customers are gonna flip out. They're like,
read every
will you stop reading the back of the card? Enough already.
Well, we're in the 17th hour of this break. We're on box 4 of this 12 case.
Yeah, I was told I was going too fast today, so I was like, yeah, you're probably right. I'm going a little too
Hurry
fast.
up and slow down.
Yeah, 100%. And then, I mean, we've got encased. I mean, I'm not going to really touch on Prism draft picks. I mean, we'll see how that turns out. But, I mean, encased football is, like, from what I've been hearing out there, is it's so short printed. I don't know if it's probably a combo of everything going on that, and I don't even think things are graded. I saw cards coming out that aren't even graded. They're just magnetic.
See, that
Wow.
was
Yeah, compared to the other years.
That's why they didn't make the last couple years was the backlog with the grading.
Yeah.
So that's why they weren't making that much of it. But that's
And a
different.
majority are like usually BGS graded, right?
Yeah, it's been BGS
Yeah.
graded for years. I mean, I haven't had a chance to watch a lot of videos, but I watched somebody open it first off the line, and it was a Kenny Pickett, and it was just in a magnetic. So
Oh, not even.
No, I'm not saying
not even
I'm
in like a
graded.
BGS
No.
authentic.
nope, no.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
and maybe that's a one-off. I don't know. Maybe there are some graded ones in there, but I mean, what are your thoughts on the whole Panini thing right now with the NFLPA and Fanatics and all that stuff.
If I'm being completely honest, I've avoided all news because I don't like to speculate.
There we go.
I really don't.
That's
So
what
I
I'm
kind of
talking
just
about.
take the route of like,
We'll wait
I'll
and
wait
see.
and
Yeah.
see. When I have more details, I'll let you know. Because
Yeah.
right now I don't know.
Yeah,
Yep.
I agree. And just hopefully at the end of the day, we always got to think about the collector, and hopefully something happens sooner than later for those guys that are looking for football cards this year. So, you
Yep.
know, collectors.
Exactly.
So,
That's hopefully everybody agrees that that's the most important thing.
yeah.
Yeah. I just don't want a. I will say I saw a.
You're gonna start speculating.
Yeah, I'm
You're gonna,
somebody had to.
I talked to my sources, and my sources told me.
Look,
The guy on the corner.
I saw a clip. I think it was an IG Live with Darren Ravel, who of course was the guy who broke the story initially, and Ken Golden, and they threw around the idea of, what if there's no 2023 football products? I'm like, stop! No, don't say that.
I
That is-
mean-
that is the absolute nightmare scenario if that happens, which
We're-
I don't think it's going to.
We're talking about like what gets the most views and stuff, like comments, and speculation is people love to I get it,
Yeah.
but I personally don't. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, they wouldn't be doing Panini, wouldn't be doing solicitations if they don't plan
Yes.
on releasing products. I can tell you right now, we just did a solicitation for Origins, so Origins will be coming out. We have Mosaic coming out. I think everybody wants to play doom and gloom that we're not going to get any products. I don't think it's really going to affect the collector that much. I think some things are going to happen. We'll see. I'm not going to speculate.
I mean, in
But-
that regard, I think it's always going to affect some type of collector because everybody collects in different ways. So, I mean,
But they'll still, what Cody was saying, potentially there not being any 2023 releases.
They simply
Yeah.
won't let that happen.
I mean, it could happen,
but I
hypothetically,
just think-
but I think the percentages of that happening,
Yeah.
highly unlikely, but it's a good talking point.
If the day before that let's say in this hypothetical that they are going to announce that, like Panini or whomever is like, we're not making them. The NFL would say, not on our watch. The NFL is going to be like, no,
need
there's
revenue.
way too much on the line, especially with this rookie class, to just say, sorry, there's nothing.
Well, I will tell you,
won't
everybody is hoarding football. Everybody's looking for football because breakers like ourselves and other breakers, especially those that do a lot of football, are basically like, we may not have anything to break. So products have like gone like up by $300 a day, like remaining products that have already been out on the market. So you see sites like Blowout don't even have any football up there right now because they don't want to sell it at the price that it's at. So it's
Don't buy sealed football right now.
No.
Like today, don't buy it.
So
Just
should
wait.
you be selling it right now though?
I mean, selling it's probably the
because you
the
could get
better
it back.
move if you got it.
That's the
It's-
better
it's a
move.
better move.
Yeah, but I mean, I
I'll tell
think-
you
So
the-
would you sell or hold?
I'd probably sell it. I'd probably sell it right now.
See, I think sell some, hold some, because you don't want to be like, I sold some for $600
You also
and then it's
have to,
$1,000
I mean,
next
we're
week,
talking
right?
about 2022 product. You have to really believe in that rookie class.
So true.
And I mean, we can get in a debate here. I don't think it's a good rookie class. I know the greatest quarterback in history to ever come out is in that class.
Yeah, Brock Purdy, you could say
Brock.
Brockstar. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. But
I think the most like I love that you said that buy some, hold some, sell some, because I think that's every collector's nightmare. So the solution is always like if you're gonna buy a card, buy two,
Yeah.
right? Because
Sell one, keep one.
if
yeah.
it becomes the
one
point
show,
where
one to show, one to go.
There it is.
yeah, everybody's like that card I sold too soon. Like if you just sold one and kept another one, then
Well, and that's the biggest thing, because I sold a lot of Otanis. We sold a lot of Otanis, and I mean, you could, yeah, exactly. You can never look back. You just have
Yeah.
to know
Oh,
in
you
that moment.
can.
You can, but
You can look back.
You
I
can't go.
look
You
back
can't
all
get in
the
your
time.
DeLorean. You can't get in your DeLorean
I
and change your
mean-
decision.
Yeah, you can't change it, but you can look back and go, I'm never selling anything ever again.
Right.
And I think that's what we're doing. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that, you know, and you don't even know what, maybe you bought something else that went up, or you've had fun with your family with that money, or you use it towards your house or something. You know, these things happen, and this industry constantly changes, and you'll never
Or you
pick
or
the
you
right
took
time.
that money and you bought a bunch of Kyler Murray at the absolute peak of the price.
Yeah.
These are all things that can happen.
These are all things
hypothetically.
that might have happened.
Will Greer did look pretty good the other day, though. He
Cling tune. Get in while the floor's low, folks.
You mean Joshua Dobbs, right?
Sure, fine.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know half the Cardinals team right now. They all got cut, and I don't know.
Cardinals
gonna be a good year.
Cardinals going for first overall pick, right? Caleb Williams.
Oh yeah, that's exactly.
You know what their over under is on
Caleb
wins?
Williams, is he hovering around Scottsdale trying to figure out where he wants to be living next year?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
You know their over under is 3.5. It's the lowest in NFL history, and since like the Buccaneers of like the 80s or something like that. So
3.5.
3.5 is their over under on wins this year.
I mean, there's
Two of them will probably be against the Rams too. So
I was about to say, if
It's a good
I was
division
going to
to
be nice to the Rams and say there's potentially, if you look at the best case scenario of the Rams, there's potentially 3 playoff teams
What do
in
the
that
Rams
division.
ever do to anybody?
Well, they want a Super Bowl.
Everybody hates the Rams.
They want a
and
Super
they, like,
Bowl and bought every
Niner
player
country,
to
baby.
do it. So, you know,
Niner country.
Whatever.
Webinyama's got this. We put this out on our Instagram last week, but we're going to have a quick discussion on it about the Webinyama first ever signed card, which is now going to be held. Have you heard the story? That they're going to have it live in San Antonio.
I haven't heard all the details. I know it's live, but what else? Just they're
So-
flying people in?
The people that have the green refractor, redemption, so it's a redemption. We were speculating, how is this going to get in somebody's hands? How are they going to choose to get it in somebody's hands, right? Because the other 98 don't have that on there, right? So what they're doing is people that redeem it by September 8th, they're going to fly them and pay for their hotel to be in San Antonio to watch the random live and then give them that card in
It's
person.
going to be like lottery, like the balls?
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't think they're going to use random.
I have a better idea. All right, you line up all 99 people, right? Redemptions. And you basically go onto a court, and the first one to score against Wembanyama,
That would be awesome.
you get the 1 of 1 inscribed.
There you go. Or
Yeah.
better yet, you could do it like a Mr. Beast, and you make a gigantic mock-up of the card, and everybody has to have their hand on it, and the last one to, like, after 4 days that has their hand on it wins the card. You just sit there forever. He did that with a Lamborghini. You had to touch the Lamborghini.
Gosh, I'm really sorry.
You have to sign a waiver to be involved in that, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
So that's a cool point. Is Wemby going to be there?
Well, they don't say he is, but it
Yeah.
is around the
He's
time he's
gotta
showing up for practice, right? Because the season's about to start. And you don't have the other people are like, oh, yeah, I have to be there to win. No, I guess if you redeem the redemption by then, you could still win and not be there. So,
Yeah. So
you
what
can't
if-
make it out. But
So what if everybody gets to meet him? That'd be awesome.
that'd
Yeah.
be pretty awesome. I
Yeah.
think that's
Yeah.
the goal, right? If they're going to hold it there.
Again, speculating. We don't know. We're not in the know. But why would they bring everybody out to San Antonio,
If you're not
where
going to have
where
Wemby.
where he is based out of and
Right.
playing, and have an event around his card and then not have him show up?
Sure.
It's a lot of moving parts to line everything for a certain
Now-
situation
Yeah.
to
You know-
not actually have it
Right.
happen.
It's like, it's like we all got you here. Here's Bruce
at that-
Bowen. Like, okay.
At that point,
No disrespect to Bruce Bowen.
at that point, why wouldn't they do it at a Fanatics headquarters somewhere?
Or just do it on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
New York,
I mean,
Florida.
So what's the typical way that they do the redemptions? Like just in order? So first person
we've
to
never
redeem gets
known.
number
Yeah.
one?
We never know.
or-
There's never been any transparency there. So we were like talking about it, like how are they going to do this transparently? And they've actually taken the route of doing it transparent. I guess my other question is they don't mention if you, let's just say hypothetically 50 people show up, right? Are they going to give the other 49 people the other cards
So-
while they're there? Or they're just going to be
so
like,
It
here's
has
the one,
been,
you know what I mean? Like
That's what I mean. Like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
meet and greet has to be a thing.
they have to give them the other cards though, right? They'll have to have
Why?
all the greens out there, and this is how you're going to get your redemption?
Sure.
I would hope, right?
I mean, kind of how they've done transcendent giveaways.
Yeah.
It's like a door prize. You're probably going to get like a bracelet or something.
There you go.
And
yeah.
then
A
they'll
bag.
Yeah, you'll get like your bag, and it'll have your green auto in there.
So I think it should
And
be
one of them is going to have the inscription on it.
I just want to note that if you can see it, if you're watching, you can see it on the slide. So this was actually reported by a local TV station, Ken's 5 in San Antonio, that first of all, you can watch virtually if you can't make it. If you have one of the redemption, you can't make it, you can watch virtually. And they are trying to encourage people to go. Topps is apparently going to cover at least up to $400 of travel expenses to get people out there. I mean, who knows?
Send you a couple boxes of Merlin or
There
something.
you go.
Yeah.
So they are going to. They're trying to get people to go out there. So we'll see. I don't know how. I don't know.
And
$400
I believe the hotel is covered too, correct? I think that's what they've said. I think the airfare and the hotel.
Maybe that is the 400.
Maybe, yeah.
That might
So
be. Like
the
a
reason
night
why
stay.
I don't like the story, I hate it actually, is that I had one.
And you
And
sold
I
the green
sold
one?
it.
Oh, we were just talking about that.
So what would you? Oh, when I found this out, I was like, I'm very like an experience-based person. Like most of my collection is like tied to some like live game that I've been at, and I was like, wow, if
I
I
could've
would have
been there.
known.
Yeah.
Well, you can
This
buy one
would've
for
been
10 grand
awesome.
now if you want.
Absolutely
There's one on
not.
eBay.
Grand?
10
I mean,
grand.
even then, I probably would have sold it for 10. I've sold it for like half of that. But man, I wish I would have kept it. But my like the last decision, like my last point before I sold it was like, I'm not the biggest basketball fan.
Yeah, you got to collect what
So
you like.
if it was baseball, I would have kept it 100%. But that's the only thing that's making me feel better. Because now, what would you do if you had it today? Would you go or would you sell it?
I would. I mean, as a collector, I would sell it. I mean, I guess as a business, I'd want to get content out there, so I'd go as for that, you know.
Yeah.
But
Say we need that content. We need
Yeah.
that sweet
Yeah.
content. Come on.
and
now.
honestly,
That
that's
was a point
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I thought of too. But it's more so like just the experience is awesome. Yeah.
and that's probably why Topps is doing this too, because they're going to be able to collect
Oh,
content too, right? They're going to get the collectors all happy
1000%.
out there, and I mean, they're probably going to give them something else that's really cool from Webanyama. I'm assuming, you know, I would have just, you know, make an assumption
And
there.
this
but
is, and I feel like this is almost a test run of like, can we do these big event-based things? And like, one, they're probably thinking like, we are being more transparent about this. And there was all that talk of like redemptions. We need to be transparent or eliminate them. Well, this is the first step towards that, and creating these big experiences around it. If it goes well, heck, could we see next year in Cincinnati, Ellie De La Cruz redemption party at Great American Ballpark? Could we see all, you know, whatever, Caleb Williams, if they have the NFL license? Like, could we see these similar types of things in the future?
You know what my sales mind thinks, because, you know, they never capitalize on this with Transcendent, because, I mean, you know, Transcendent is like a $25,000 product, and a lot of the people that either buy into breaks or have bought cases are, you know, more well off than others, right? But there's no opportunity for them to sell anything to those people while they're there. So I'm wondering if this is a trial run. I know this is kind of a $150 box product, but maybe if somebody did pay for like 10 grand, they get people out there. They maybe have some vendors out there too. You know, you don't have to go buy something, but like maybe do some kind of event like trial where if we bring people out there, are they going to spend money on other stuff too? You know what I mean? As a trial. And that's one of the things I like about the Anaheim situation is because I think like people from Japan and overseas, they don't go to the National because it's too far. But Anaheim, they'll go. So I think we're going to see some data of that, of how many people are going to fly out, maybe go to an Angels game, go to Disneyland, and then go to a card show as well. I think you have less of that on the East Coast or Chicago and stuff
Angels
like that.
in town this weekend?
I don't know. Are they? Do anybody know?
Not going to see Ohtani pitch, but, you know,
Maybe
see him hit.
I think the Dodgers play in LA.
You're a Dodger fan too?
No, I'm a Giants.
Oh,
fan.
oh my gosh.
He should be.
I actually think the Dodgers.
I'm a Dodger fan, and I'm just like leaving the Bay Area and moving to LA.
At that point.
I know. Every time we go to Niner games, I point out to him the guys that are wearing the Rams and the LA Dodgers hats. I'm like, that's what you are. That's you. But you're the Giants with the
Correct.
Rams jersey on. Bizarre. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what I want to see is like, you know, how many people are going to be flying out there? Are we going to get? I hate to use the term whales. That's what we say in this industry, but like more, you know, established collectors, I should say, is a better word to say it, that are going to come to LA, and that could be a West Coast bias, but like there's more money in a sense in California and from people that can travel to California than people that are going like New Jersey or Chicago. So hopefully I don't get blasted for that.
I'm interested to see the layout because I've been to the Anaheim Convention Center for other events, and that place is huge.
Very big.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about the layout. And you already said like it's going to be the second floor and then like the kind of the basement. There's actually, if I'm not mistaken, there's actually a third floor as well.
Wow, so this place is massive.
It's
then.
huge.
It's really big.
huge.
Really, really big.
So-
That's where they do the big Disney convention every other year.
Oh, the
too.
D23?
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Wow.
Which is a massive event, like Comic-Con level, you know, crowds and
Yeah,
all
I
that.
don't know if it's going to be there where they usually have that, though.
Well, and last year he had it in
Ontario.
in Ontario, but it was right next to the airport. Or no, what was it? That was that the one that was because
That was
I
this year,
walked there.
actually. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, that was this. That was actually that was this year
In Burbank, right?
in Burbank. But then there was an Ontario one after that, I think, right? But I went to the one where I was like, oh, I could walk off the Burbank or the plane and walk to the event, which was cool for me.
Yeah.
And it was packed. You know, what you like to see at a card show, I think that creates more excitement when it's packed. So it's probably sometimes when you have a huge card space and it's not as packed, it's a little bit less like, you know, action. So we'll see if he packs this place. I'm assuming it's going to be packed, but
Yeah.
we'll see. Because the National, when you see all those people, the herd, and you're like, you're trying to find what you're going to do. And I think that creates people wanting to buy things quicker, right? So
Yeah, that was a big lure, I guess, for the first Burbank Card Show was packed, but I think maybe a little too packed, and
Yes.
Ontario was just right.
okay.
Like I didn't think I heard anybody say that it was too packed or not packed enough. So
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah. Maybe we'll see with 2 levels.
it's crazy to think how much it's
Crazy.
grown in just 3 shows in less than a year, essentially, too. So
Yeah. Props to Rob for making it happen.
Mm-hmm.
So the card father. So we're getting some. Explain this Mojobreak QB draft you got going on
all
here.
right. So football season is a week away. So I thought, you know what? I want to do something a little different this year. This is real easy. Mojobreak QB draft. Basically, it's really as simple as pick a QB you think is going to be really good this year. That's as simple as that. Each person selects one for the entire 23 season. I said no rookies just because there's no cards to base the value off of from now until the end of the year. QB who's got the highest percentage value growth by the end of the season. Not necessarily the most expensive card at the end of the year, just the one that got the most growth. That's who is the winner. So that's where I'm like, so you don't want to go Patrick Mahomes, maybe, or maybe you do, because is he going to grow that much depending on what he does this year? And of course, value is going to be determined by a PSA 10 rookie silver prism or a Topps Chrome, something similar.
So it'd be
to
like
that.
Matt Stafford, whose cards are probably like $4 right now, but they could go to like 100, right?
Well,
Yeah.
it's your words, not mine. That one.
Matt Stafford's a great. I don't.
But apparently he doesn't know anybody's names on his team.
I
so.
mean, it doesn't. I didn't say he was a young quarterback. I said he was a
Like
good
Doug,
quarterback.
I think Doug last night you said I think you put it out there, and I think you.
I'm not going
had-
to pick him, but
Well, you
can't
clearly
anyway by the
though,
rules.
the gears were turning where you went. Oh, I'm gonna. What's his name? I tell you, don't even remember.
I know,
Ted
Tyson
Nugent?
Badgett?
Badgett. Ted
Yeah.
Nugent. Not even
Ted Nugent.
close.
let's talk about guns.
not
Let's talk about him.
cat scratch fever of fame. Not him. Like the second street QB of the Bears. If you really think, maybe Justin Fields doesn't look good, or he
Tyson
gets
Badgett,
hurt,
that's
then
it.
maybe Tyson Badgett's a great guy to pick. Although
he's a rookie this year,
But he's
so
a
it wouldn't
rookie, so
qualify.
I guess that wouldn't work. So
So who's starting? We're going to start with Dan then.
Yeah,
Put him on the hot seat.
Dan,
Cool.
your pick.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Damn right it is.
You think so? But this is.
Confident.
But see, this is where I'm like, because he is
No,
a guy
it's a good
that
one.
I
You
don't.
have
But
to-
I
you
don't
just-
see his
yeah.
value
Say,
budging.
hey,
that
it's good.
much.
On to the next one.
I don't see his value budging that much. But go ahead. But I want to hear the explanation.
No, he's kind of low already.
No, he is low. He's been low.
That's true.
He's historic. I don't understand
Collectors
why.
only remember him. It's 2005.
Aaron Rodgers is super low. With the hard knocks, got more eyeballs on him. He's in New York. They're going to be good. They probably have the best defense in the league. There's only one correct answer here. It's Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. I like the New York thing. Makes sense. The New York
Well, the best defense in the league.
Sure.
No hard knocks. And I had a lot of. You just picked out one
Kinda
little thing
took-
that was
yeah.
good. They're-
New York is what.
Kind of took mine now.
Yeah.
Luckily,
No,
I'm going fourth now.
you're gonna go
I'm not going who you think I'm going.
Justin Fields.
No, I'm not a believer.
I like Justin Fields this year.
I'm not a
I
believer.
really like Justin Fields this
You're
year.
gonna go Geno Smith.
I'll
That's a good one.
I'll throw out my guy who, if you've listened to the show for a while, I feel like I end up
Oh,
being.
don't even say.
No, not him. Not him. Not
Herbert? You
the
think
other
Herbert?
guy
I was
in
like,
LA.
You gotta be kidding me. I'm
Although-
like, you truly are a Charger fan.
Although I still like Justin Herbert, I'm not going to go as far as I was
Yeah.
last year, where I said he was going to win the MVP. Although look at the stats, it wasn't that crazy of a pick. But
Chargers
I
curse.
No, I'd say if I talk about any other QB second, Tua. I like Tua. I feel like I've talked about him a few times where I'm like, Tua's becoming something special. He showed it last year when he was healthy. I know the one thing that does give
Question
me
mark
pause.
on the health, but
Yes.
if he stays healthy,
Yes.
I like that.
It gives me pause because
no
of
Aaron Rodgers pick.
what
It's-
happened last year.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
He also bulked up. Have you seen him recently? Dude bulked up because he knew he can't. Because he's like, I can't keep getting tossed around. Because he said I want to be smaller and elusive. That's kind of my game. But he realized I got to bulk up so that I'm not just, I'm not getting hurt. So
he only needs to throw the ball like 8 yards. to
Right.
Tyreek Hill, and he
Exactly.
Just break it off for 90.
So
It's.
I think
it
he's got a
does-
lot of room to grow.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how long the ball stays in the air for.
No.
A
and
90-yard touchdown.
And if somehow I know Jonathan Taylor can't be traded right now because he's going to be on the PUP list, but if the Dolphins seem like the team that was going the hardest after him, if they can add Jonathan Taylor at some point, then, man, Tua. I'm just saying the Dolphins and Tua, second year of Mike McDaniels. You saw the potential last year. I'm going with Tua. That's my guy.
You want to go third?
I'm just going to throw the dice. Probably the riskiest pick, but I think the highest percentage of value growth possibility is Jordan Love.
Yeah.
Not a bad one.
No,
Not a bad
it's
one.
it
I
is the
mean,
biggest
he
one.
looked good that one time, so.
That's a good. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a good pick.
It's
good pick.
it's very hard to bet against Green Bay quarterbacks. I will say that. Even when you think, no way, they can't keep doing this. But it's kind of the same path that Aaron Rodgers was on. Almost the exact same path. I like it.
Man, it's a tough one. I mean, my heart wants to go with Daniel Jones, but I'm going to go something completely unorthodox, and I'm going to go with Jimmy Garoppolo. Because I think he's so yeah. I did a 180 on you guys.
And I
kept you on-
love the fact I love the fact you've come to Raider Nation. And now that Jimmy is a Raider, and I know how much you love the Raiders.
No.
That is great.
man.
I love that.
He almost fell out of his seat on that one. I was a big Jimmy hater. on the Niners.
Jimmy, I was going to go Jimmy. Jimmy was definitely going to be one of the ones. Because if the Raiders were a couple fourth quarter, fourth quarters away from being in the playoffs.
That's true.
And they've got Devontae Adams. They just signed Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
It's not going to be so much Jimmy. I think his prices are so low right now. And the Super Bowl's in Vegas. And how many people just go to Vegas to see teams play when they're in Vegas? So he's going to get some eyeballs. Derek Carr's been there for years. I think he was forgotten about. I think they got a new quarterback. Prices are already probably going up because of that. I'm just going with that. It's a low buy, and it's probably not going to go up that much, but I think it's going to be a higher percentage because I think they're going to make the playoffs as a wild card team.
My problem with Jimmy's cards is what is his rookie card? And how does
2014
it
Patriots,
look?
yeah.
Don't you think the actual card has a lot to do with it too?
Yeah, you have to be able
what
to
would
find
be,
it.
What would be?
Well, but to that fact though,
it's kind of
it's a dual manufacturer year. So you've got Topps Chrome, you also have Prism.
That's true.
So what are we talking about? Which one
Probably
right here? Yeah. Well,
Prism in
probably
that
Topps
one.
Chrome for that one.
Topps Chrome or Prism,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because the Prism design that year is not great for his.
Maybe
his
I'm
rookie
secretly
year.
keeping all my options open because I have a lot more
14,
products
yeah.
to pick from to
I like
have the
that
highest
year.
percentage to
That's
go up.
more of just the top, the bust looking type of one.
for Topps Chrome or for
for Prism.
Oh, Topps Chrome. Oh,
No, Prism that year
Yeah.
was
That was-
kind of it was kind of just a full big old, yeah. It was
Yeah,
from
like
here,
the
yeah.
bust. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a
look,
huge fan of the design, but
I'm with you on
it's okay. I mean, 2014 Topps Chrome was the most mass-produced because that was Johnny Manziel's year.
Yeah.
They made so much of that to the point where I think it was like $20 a hobby
Yeah,
box
it's
at
like
one point.
$30 a box.
So
Jimmy.
Lamar Jackson. I know I already got
Oh
mine, but
yeah, he would
Lamar
have been a
Jackson,
good one too. That's another guy I like a lot.
Odell Beckham there now. Rashad Bateman.
Yeah.
I mean, a healthy J.K. Dobbins.
I mean,
Watch out for Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
Doesn't-
like that pick.
Doesn't have the contract.
but he doesn't
over
get a
his head.
lot of hobby love.
I
though.
know. That's why
He
his cards
doesn't.
are
This
so
could be
low
the
right
year.
now. Well, relatively low. That there could be room for growth. He makes a run, gets another MVP, wins a Super Bowl. His cards 100% will go up.
Oh yeah, you're talking 2 MVPs and a Super Bowl at that point, and what? He's about the same age as Mahomes, if not. I don't know if he's younger or just a little older, but they're about the same age.
Well, yeah, he was the year after Mahomes, so he's probably got to be
So
younger.
then, if that, I mean, again, this is a lot of ifs we're throwing out, but if that happens, then I don't really think there's an argument for who the second guy in
that
the NFL
division
is
is
at
a
that
little
point.
tough though. The Steelers
It is a
got
tough
better. I
division.
mean, Deshaun Watson cards are still selling
And
for a
you've
lot,
got,
which I don't know why.
and
but-
frankly, Lamar's not the best QB in that division anymore. He plays in Cincinnati now, so there's that to contend
you got the
with, too.
Bengals too.
Right.
So, yeah, I know you almost want to go with like a Joe Burrow, but it's like those cards are so expensive
Again,
already.
Yeah.
It's that room to grow.
crazy.
I'll throw out one more, and I'm actually going to do something about him next week before week 1. But
Tyson Badgett.
not Tyson Badgett. No,
We don't. He's still.
This will be
he's
the
still
first-
the backup, Doug.
I just want to put. I'm gonna. Here's my prediction. This will be the first and last time we say the name Tyson Badgett on this podcast.
I don't think so.
No, it's not.
I think come week 9 we're gonna be talking.
I'm gonna
about
pride
it a lot.
myself
Zero
in
chance.
never saying it.
Zero chance.
I'm not gonna say it.
Jared Goff. I like
I
Jared.
thnow
Goff.
about
Okay,
that.
well, now
Yeah.
you're talking.
I like
thought
Jared.
about
Now,
that too.
now you're talking.
Yeah, I like him this year. That's all I'll say.
Jared Goff.
But he's gonna be
forever around.
Thursday night next week against the Chiefs. So that could be that could kill it right there.
I looked
for
up
us.
Or it could make it.
Or it could make it.
I mean, there's a chance the Chiefs could start off slow.
Yeah, it's not
Anything
crazy.
can happen.
They
true.
started off slow last year, if you
Anything can
recall.
happen.
They had like a weird 3 weeks where they like lost to Indianapolis, and they kind of had a weird start to the season. So, it could happen.
Jets Lions Super Bowl.
Boy.
Wow.
Woof. That is really going to test the brand of the NFL. Like, you sure you want to watch this?
Wow. In Vegas.
Really want to
Yeah.
watch in Vegas?
In Vegas. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
And there's some good rookies coming out this year. Aiden O'Connell. I mean, I guess for my pick, I don't want to see Aiden O'Connell this year, but Tyson Badgett, as we mentioned. I'm gonna say it's a six times.
Because again, this is going to be the last time you're going to say, so you might as well get it all out.
He looked pretty good.
Over like a C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young.
His cards are probably more
They're
expensive.
going to
right
be
now.
a lot cheaper.
He's Chicago's backup. They undrafted.
I
rookie.
know. He's his backup.
They got rid of
That's my
P.J.
point.
Walker.
It's his
So,
backup.
Fields gets hurt. Watch. I mean, hopefully not like a bad hurt, but
There's been wild stuff sent on the show, and I don't know if there's much wilder than Tyson Badgett.
We're gonna look back and we're gonna play this 3 months from now. You're gonna be like, man, was Doug Nostradamus on this one? He
Maybe.
predicted this.
If you are, well. Yeah.
How about Sam Darnold?
Nah, he's not gonna.
Wow, what's up, Niner fans? What's up?
I mean, if you're invested heavily in Purdy, do you grab some Darnold?
You could probably go out and get some Sam Darnold right now pretty cheap, right?
But
And
you also got
put me in that offense. I could probably throw for a couple thousand yards.
But Stephanie brought up a good point too.
Maybe a couple yards.
See, the problem with collectors when they're on a different team too, right? Because like Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be on a Patriot card, right? So that that does factor in. Sam Darnold on a Jets card. Jared Goff on a Rams card.
I will give
That's
you
a
this.
really great point.
Yeah. I will give you this with Jimmy G, the fact that Tom Brady's there now. I saw that little video of him, Tom Brady, being like, yeah, go get him. I'm like, is that what's going to happen every time? They're going to get pep talks from Tom Brady before every game? Well, shoot.
I mean,
maybe I do want to put a little money on the Raiders.
Jimmy G does have 2 rings from Tom Brady.
He does.
So
He does.
I guess Aaron Rodgers rookies would be on Green Bay, but that doesn't really.
He's so locked in at this point. Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
yeah,
Well,
I mean,
that's like an iconic card.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why I made that point to his, not yours.
yeah. Jimmy G's not iconic by any stretch of the imagination. So
Not yet.
maybe in the looks department he might be iconic to some.
That's true. No, that's
A
objective.
lot.
That's objectively true.
That dude filled up the stadium, man.
With a lot of the opposing team's fans, yeah. For sure.
Yeah. Yep. All right, guys. Well, Stephanie, tell people where they can follow you at and where they can join some of your breaks.
You can follow me on Instagram. That's where I post most. And you can join my breaks on Whatnot and Fanatics Live and eBay Live, too.
Awesome. It's hard to just pick one. Which one are you on the most, you would say? If you
Me, personally, I break mostly on Fanatics Live, but I have my breakers doing Whatnot and eBay Live.
Nice. So they can find you almost everywhere. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Being available to, all the different platforms. So, yeah. And she's got great Instagram content every day. There's always something new
Thank
that's coming
you.
out. So I think, almost 20,000 followers now?
Almost.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
I'm almost there.
Congrats on
So,
that.
Thank you.
Building that up. I mean, how long has it been? Like 2 years?
Since I started my Instagram, almost 2.5 years.
Yeah. I mean, it only took us 13 years to get to 30,000 followers. So you're on the pace to pass us up next year. So,
Thank you.
but yeah, it's been fun having you on the show. We appreciate you coming in and getting on the show with us. And, we look forward to seeing you and contributing to the kids event over at the Burbank Card Show.
Thank you.
And I think we're going to break some Galaxy. So look out for that video on each of our Instagrams. We're going to see what's in this Galaxy box.
That's the real reason I came here, because I needed to rip some of this.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta see it. I feel that. So, but catch us on the Hype next week, guys. Follow us at Mojobreak_com. Contribute to our Facebook group as well, the Hype community. And we'll see you guys on the next show. Peace.